of Venezuela. The media just ran with it blindly. But instead, my father delivered a speech laying out his record year of his second term. I mean, the ultimate Trump rope-a-dope. They think he's going to do a State of the Union type address to the nation announcing yet another endless ground war. And instead, he just talks about the successes that they refuse to talk about. We'll get into all. Now, yesterday, there was a bunch of baseless buzz about.
All right, all right, all right. Thanks, Don Jr. Does that make you feel like yesterday's speech? Remember, it was going to be war, war, war. That's what Tucker Carlson said. Insiders were telling him, and then it just turned out to be. I don't know. We're going to talk about that though. Interesting stuff going on. But first, guys, tonight we got a lot of fun going on tonight. The Amfest thing is getting crazy. There's also a wild Thursday night football game going on right now. I know. I'm not watching it, but I am paying attention because it does affect the Niners quite a bit. So that's going on. But man, what a crazy day in the news today. Yes, RIP Greg Biffle. God bless him. And that plane crash is terrible stuff. But the Amfest thing's going on. We have HHS banning trans surgeries. We got Trump recategorizing marijuana. We have the Patriot Games announced. Oh, yeah, we're going to talk about that. Oh, yeah, so there's so much. Inflation came in crazy low, lowest since 2021, way below expectations. Trump continues to build the economy for Main Street, not Wall Street. So, I mean, we got so much to cover. It is a big show. Tomorrow is the Epstein files release date. So, wow, lots going on. Got to cover it. I'm going to do my best to break it down. So, welcome to American Fire, episode 670. Can you believe I've been here that long? And that doesn't even include my other videos. That's just how many live streams I've done, how many podcasts I've done, because every live stream's turned into a podcast. So, pretty crazy, guys. That's a lot of work. And also, drum roll, next week is 3 years I've been doing this. 3 years. So thank you guys for all the support. Love you guys for all the channel support. Please, before we get started, hit that like, hit that share. Well, you can't hit that share unless you're on X. Hit that repost, but you guys can share it. Hit that subscribe if you're new. I would love to have you here. And anyways, we got to go through the chizat and get moving because so much is happening. Wagga Waco numero uno tonight. What's up, buddy? Cass Sink, Kim Wiley, late night. D6 report. What's up? Alan Agajanian. How's it going, buddy? Alice Fordham, Kathy for the birds. We got Vince in the house, Robert Chen, Mark R, CJ Yukon, and Fro Girl and US1. Roll Tide, baby. How we doing all tonight? Okay, hold on a second. I forgot to share this to the group. I don't always treat my members the best because I get so busy I forget. Sorry, members. Now you guys know I'm live. Just a couple minutes late, Because YouTube doesn't like to notify all my subscribers. What the heck is up with that? Almost 7,000 subscribers. YouTube barely notifies like 50 of them. Who all got notifications tonight? Any of you guys? Oh, Toe Cramp. What's up, man? You're coding tonight? Good luck. God bless you, sir. That's rough. Okay. You guys ready to get started? I'm telling you, it's spicy over there in Amfest. Let's tune in. I'm going to share some clips between Ben Shapiro and Tucker Carlson, and it is influencers crushing each other tonight, like just destroying each other on Amfest. Wait, hold on. Okay, well, I'll check the score when we're getting into this. But look at this. Oh, Ben Shapiro. Dilly team hates him, and I'm not a Shapiro fan. The guy he is so establishment Republican. I'm not a fan of that. Not now, not ever. I hate it, actually. He is full on establishment Republican. He is crazy about Israel first over America. So much to not like about Ben Shapiro, but I'll give him a couple props for calling out Candy Owens. So let's just listen to how he starts it off tonight.
Evidence. So when Candace Owens says, "I don't know, but I know," that is retarded, and we are all more retarded for having heard it. When Steve Bannon, for example, accuses his foreign policy opponents of loyalty to a foreign country, he's not actually making an argument based in evidence. He's simply maligning people that he disagrees with, which is indeed par for the course from a man who was once a PR flack for Jeffrey Epstein.
Boo.
Our duty to provide you evidence means we actually have to do much more than just ask questions. Just asking questions is something my 5-year-old does, and it's really cute when it comes from my 5-year-old. But when grown men and women spend their days just asking questions without, seeking answers, they are lying to you. In fact, they're doing something even worse. They are seeding distrust in the world around you, and they are enervating you in the process. So, for example, if many speakers, including Tucker Carlson and others, get on stage here at TPUSA and claim, without proper evidence, that Jeffrey Epstein was running a Mossad rape ring being covered up by the Trump administration, they are not actually uncovering a conspiracy or effectuating a solution. They are claiming a special provenance to information they won't let you see, which builds their power and leaves you with none.
Okay. Shots fired at Tucker. Did you notice that, as much as I agree with Ben on the Candace part, with Tucker, that was a low blow bringing in. But you know why Ben's so upset? Because he said Mossad. It's a Mossad. You can't criticize Mossad to Ben Shapiro. But man, Ben Shapiro, not a MAGA guy, usually not on MAGA stages. It's kind of embarrassing TPUSA invite him. I got to be honest. TPUSA, what are you doing? But I know Charlie was a great bring everybody into the tent person, so we'll allow it. But you got to realize, Ben, if you're going to come on stage, there's somebody who comes on and does this a lot better than you do. Let's hear Tucker's response here to Benny Pooh.
I watched it. I laughed.
Obviously love Tucker so much more. Man, I gotta say, he's still got it. He's still got it. He just took down Ben Shapiro. Where Shapiro overstepped the line, and I don't care, what you guys think about Steve Bannon. Obviously the Epstein stuff's weird, but in MAGA, you can't go after Steve Bannon. So what are you doing, Shapiro? Read the room, bro. Read the room. But Tucker just smashed him right there. But Tucker had all kinds of good stuff to say. Mike Mitchell says Tucker getting a lot of heat over going to war with Venezuela and the address to the nation. Yeah, well, here, if you listen to the full context, I'm going to just clear this up, and then we're going to go to another Tucker clip because I got a few of them because he's got some really good stuff tonight. If you listen to the full clip of that, Tucker said he had a source tell him that Trump's announcing war with Venezuela last night, and then he says, "But I don't know." He says, and he basically clears it up, says, I have nothing to confirm that. So he did, there is and looking at, Don Jr. is like best friends with Tucker. That's why I played the clip at the beginning. And did you hear the word Don Jr. said at the beginning? He said Trump rope-a-doped them. There are some people out there that think Trump used Tucker to expose a leaker last night. And so what he did is he had Tucker seed that out there to get the leak, get everybody watching as well. And then Trump kind of, didn't do that. And so now they have more a easier way to find who the leaker was because of who was saying the war with Venezuela thing versus what really happened. I don't know if that's true, but yeah, very, very interesting stuff. All right, let's keep going on with Tucker, but you could see how Tucker and Tucker and Shapiro do not like each other. And here's Tucker talking about how there's plenty of people who donate to Amfest, donate to TPUSA, who didn't want him here.
Deplatform and denounce. Why haven't
Good stuff. Good stuff. He's absolutely right. We have fallen too far into that camp. Like we're acting like the left on this whole cancel culture nonsense, but you guys see where it's coming from, though, right? I mean, look, Tucker, you got as somebody who's a huge Trump guy, and who actually, I appreciate Tucker for even when he disagrees with me. I do, because I think he's well thought out. He has people on. I know there's a lot of people who hate Tucker, and that's fine. I'll tell you what. As long as Trump loves Tucker and Trump's closest people love Tucker, which is JD Vance, Don Jr., I'm going to love Tucker. And one thing Tucker is absolutely right about, and it's a good warning, and it's not to MAGA, though. You know who he's really calling out? He's calling out the Republicans trying to co-opt MAGA. I'm sorry, guys, about the volume. My bad. The problem is I play clips that I find on X, because it's easier than going through the actual speech and find the right spots. And sometimes they don't all post at the same volume. So I apologize. Anyways, but it's the Republicans who are trying to undermine MAGA, trying to undermine Trump, the neocons, the establishment types. They're trying to introduce all this because MAGA is not for it. MAGA never wanted that. Just like Tucker said, so many people voted for Trump because they were sick of the woke nonsense. They're sick of cancel culture. They're sick of the attack on white people. And yes, there is a major attack on white people in this nation. Been going on forever. That's what DEI is all about. I mean, the shocking statistics that have been coming out. The report that launched a couple days ago, when I was not on, so I didn't cover it. But I probably need to go back and cover that report on the racism against white people in the companies for the last 10 years, which all started under Obama. Obama made our nation racist again. He did. It was one of his main tools to try and destroy our country, break us apart, and Tucker's calling it out. And people are done with that, and that's why they voted for Trump. Even people who didn't like Trump, even didn't like his policies, didn't like his character, were like, screw this. We're not putting up with this nonsense anymore. And they're absolutely right to do so. And so, but that's the whole lobby of people on the right, like, and it's not MAGA. It's the establishment types trying to bring this back and trying to make it like it is MAGA. Like, I don't care that Candace Owens says stuff because I have a platform to come out and say crazy stuff, like, to call it out, you know. Candace can say one thing, Tim Pool can debunk her. It can go round and round we go. Ben Shapiro can say crazy stuff about putting Israel first, and Tucker can call out Epstein's ties to Mossad. Like, we can all do this, and it's great to do it. Let's all talk about it. No cancel culture. Ben Shapiro calling out Tucker for having Nick Fuentes on. I can't stand Nick Fuentes. I think he's awful for our society, and especially for young men. But he's got a voice for a reason. There's a lot of disenfranchised young men out there, and he speaks to them. And so we have to take that seriously, not him seriously, but we need to challenge him in person. So Tucker was right to have him on. I mean, this is the kind of crazy stuff. And that's what started. It's funny that Ben brought that up because that's what started the whole psyop against Trump and MAGA almost 2 months ago now, was Tucker having Fuentes on the show. And that's when everybody freaked out and the PSYOP went to 11, you know, like in Spinal Tap. It goes to 11. That's what happened. The PSYOP came crashing down, and they timed it right after the elections and after the government shutdown. They attacked Trump with all this and tried to tell Nick Fuentes to MAGA, and then Candace started going off. And then, it was just crazy. And now it's kind of like settled down. We're getting back on track. Trump's getting win after win after win right now. I mean, it is driving the Democrats crazy. It's driving the establishment Republicans even crazier. They thought they finally had him. They thought they were going to get Trump so unpopular this year. They were going to lose the midterms on purpose so that Trump could get impeached and they could destroy or at least slow down his second half of his term. And the Republicans were going to say, see, Trump's a loser, and try to get JD Vance out at the end. That was what's going to happen. But now Trump's approval's back up. He's getting all kinds of wins on the economy, including inflation. It's going to keep happening. But that's why Tucker's saying this stuff, because he's calling out their tools to use against us as psyops. And they've been trying to turn MAGA into them, or at least be associated with them so people get sick of us. And it's not going to work. Here's Tucker for a minute on just some really good stuff about the white hate stuff. More damaging. Thank you, Tucker, because it's a bigger majority here in America. Listen, you know what's one of the craziest things? And here, like, this is where I don't think I have this problem on this channel. I think you guys are too smart, but this could get me in trouble. Listen, guys, I don't play the race thing. I barely get into it. I just don't want to. But it's at the point now, and it's been at the point, it's just growing, where it's so bad out there against, they're using everything against whites and especially white men, but white women, you too. It's just not as much. You don't have the double demon going on. You only got half the demon going on, according to them. But I saw the craziest thing the other day. White males right now in the world were only 3% of the world population. That's a statistic I saw. I didn't double check it, but it looked like a credible source. 3% of the world population, and somehow we're supposed to be the great evil against it all. No, they're just trying to eradicate us. And what Tucker's saying here is very important, because in America, obviously, whites are the majority, but they're trying to destroy us, and they're trying to weed us out. Right now, worldwide, all whites worldwide are 8% of the population. We're not even close to the majority. We might even be the biggest minority on Earth if you're just going by pure race. And they're trying to weed us out. Isn't that crazy? So it's hard. I hate going into the race stuff, but sometimes you just got to call it out like it's true. But the anti-Semitism thing is interesting, because anti-Semitism does exist. I'm not going to pretend it doesn't. That's stupid. I'm not Nick Fuentes. But it's used as a tool, and it's used as a tool to distract from what's really going on constantly. And sometimes it's real, and it should be called out for why it's real. But why do we make it the biggest thing in the world while meanwhile we're destroying the people who made this country, the class of people that made this country? It's the craziest thing. And I'm so glad. If we didn't have Trump, we wouldn't be able to talk about this the way we are now. So just one of those things that, like, it changed completely because we got Trump. And it's always important to remember that. We couldn't have these conversations. We couldn't bring solutions because of that. Let's listen for another second here. Yep. So good. So good. When I was growing up, we were not a race-blind society, but we were pretty freaking close. Probably the closest modern world's ever seen. I grew up, the biggest show on TV was The Cosby Show. Fresh Prince was one of the other biggest shows. Michael Jordan was the biggest star in the world. And guess what? I loved all of it. I love those shows. A little white boy watching those shows, wanting to be like Mike. Just those are some of my heroes growing up. And I didn't care about race at all. You didn't even think about it. It was just, these guys are cool, or these guys are funny. And it was awesome. And that carried on until the 2000s, mostly through the early 2000s. It barely came up here and there. And then Obama came along and just changed it all. It's insane. It's insane. Sorry about the Rams tonight, guys. What a crazy game. I saw that. What an ending. So all this, and why are the establishment Republicans on that side of things? Because anti-Semitism gives them an opportunity to cancel culture. So, again, they're just no better than the Dems, no better than the left. But they are trying to come back strong. And here's Tucker telling us about how they're trying to take back the party.
There are two things going on here, and I'm not guessing. One is jockeying for position post-Trump. So Trump created this amazing coalition, bringing in people who had never voted Republican before but were very enthusiastic about him. And that coalition took over the most powerful...
How often have I been telling you guys this? All the time. Why do you think we need JD so much? JD is the chosen successor, I actually believe Trump is more important than JD because he is the one who has to break this spell over the nation that the globalist agenda took over. He's the one who has to destroy, be the rock that shatters the corruption, that wakes us all up. He's the wrecking ball, and we need it. And without that, we can't have what comes next. We have to have Trump. That's why he's so tough. That's why he's so rough. And that's why so many people don't like him, because it's uncomfortable. But we needed it. So Trump is more important because without him, you don't get what's next. But I'm telling you guys right now, I think when we're living under it, JD Vance is going to be a better president. And what do I mean by that? I don't mean he's more important. Trump's going to go down the history books as the important one. But JD Vance will be the better president because under JD, he has the skills to keep this moving forward, to build the coalition even more. And under him, because he's so good at communication, I think under Vance is when the country will start healing and start moving forward again. And that's going to be super important. And I don't think JD Vance just has Trump's ability to actually, he's got a better ability for policy. Trump's got the ability for fighting, but I think Vance won't need to fight as much. He'll need to be builder. And I think he's got a better ability to do that. So, but they hate it. And they know that whatever Trump does, they can survive it if there's no building on top of it. So Trump's the one going in, demoing, like think of it as a city. Trump's coming in as the demo team. He's taking down the buildings, taking down the houses, gutting it all down to the bone. He's just like crashing it. And what he's doing is he's just laying a new foundation. They know they can come in after Trump, if they get rid of Trump, they can come in, they can start building on this new foundation. They'll have lost almost everything they already built, but they can rebuild on a new foundation and they can start over. And the globalists will start over and they'll go hard and heavy. They'll start doing it speed run. That's why JD is so important though, because with JD, he'll build on top of whatever Trump leaves. And whatever he builds, if the people start liking it, the people start coming together, that's the ultimate nail in the coffin they can't come back from. Because then they have to go back into a mode where they have no power and they also have to try to tear it down with no power. That takes time. Look how long it's taken Trump to tear everything down and start over. It's a hard job once you lay a good foundation. So that's why JD is so important. Anyways, isn't that interesting? So I've told you guys for a long time. In fact, as far as I know, and you guys are, you're a small audience compared to all these big influencers. That's okay. I love it. I know my audience is loyal and you guys are the best. But it was a year and a half ago when I was the first person that I know of anywhere who said that JD Vance would be the best vice president. He's the most important person to become vice president if Trump can get him. I said, Trump needs to give JD Vance. I was the first person to say it. I didn't hear it anywhere else. Not even Tucker said that. And look at this. Look how dangerous he is to them. And I've been telling you guys the last few months, they are terrified of JD. And so you got to look at this. Like, why do you think there's such a psyop to try to take JD down? Look at, the people, the Palantir stuff, the Whitney Webb crap. I mean, there's a psyop. There's a reason all these people are desperate. Ask yourself why Whitney Webb, who's like the great exposer of the corruption, blah, blah, blah. Why is she siding with the neocons? Why is she siding with the establishment Republicans against JD Vance? Your enemies always tell you who they are. They always tell you who they are eventually. They can't hide forever because at some point they have to make moves. And when they make their moves, they always show themselves. Well, everybody who's anti-JD Vance is either a liberal Democrat who doesn't, who's indoctrinated to hate everything MAGA, or their establishment, their deep state. And that includes influencers. So you see all these people coming up, all the tech bros, the technocracy, JD Vance is one of them. That, my friends, is exactly what the establishment wants you to think. And I have friends who believe that stuff. I have friends that trust these people because they're so black-pilled they think everybody's bad. But no, I'm telling you, JD is the one. JD's the one. And they are terrified of him. And you know what really terrifies them about JD? Well, they don't like this. He is the most popular politician in America. Look at this Emerson poll. JD Vance favorable, 46%. Only 13% never heard of. So he's also the most well-known out of all these. These are all people who are either challengers to him coming up or people on the sidelines, kind of like, like Elon or Marjorie Taylor Greene, Mike Johnson, another Republican, major Republican. But only 13% don't know who JD is. Okay. That's huge. That means these numbers aren't going to go lower. He's going to rise, and he might get to 50-50. He might get to like 53-47 or 54-46. That's fine. We live with that. That's majority. Look at Elon. 14 don't know who he is. He's 6% underwater. Mike Johnson, of course, not a lot of people. You have to really follow politics to know Mike Johnson. 28% don't know who he is. He's underwater. Josh Shapiro. The only people who really know who Josh Shapiro is Democrats and Pennsylvanians who voted for him. So he's 33-27, but 40% of people don't know who he is. Newsom is underwater by 11%. AOC underwater by 12%. This is huge numbers. This is terrifying numbers for them. There's no one on the Republican side or the Democratic side who can even come close to JD Vance net favorables. That's massive, folks. That is absolutely massive. Okay. And I think it's only going to continue rising. And this is what drives me nuts. People are like, JD Vance, like they try to tear him down. He's not very much a political talent, blah, blah, blah. JD Vance is the most talented politician since Obama. And what makes him even better is that Obama was lying to your face, being schmoozy and talented about it. JD is talented, but he's got truth on his side and he actually believes what he's saying. That's an unbeatable combination. And I don't care who you are. I don't care what the warnings are. We got Rich Barris out there, who I love. Rich Barris. Listen, Rich, I love you. You're the best pollster out there. I'm not saying you're not, but you're completely wrong about JD needing to worry right now. With his favorables like this and his political talent, when it comes to a general election, Newsom and AOC, there's no way they can beat him. There's only one factor that could beat JD Vance, and that is the economy. If the economy is trash, if it's absolutely trash, then he could lose. But he is talented enough to come across completely different than Trump, even though he's Trump's VP. People who are Republican right now or moderate, who are like maybe angry at Trump, maybe mad not enough's going on, and maybe they're like, well, JD's a part of it. I'm telling you right now, when it comes to the election and they see AOC out there saying some crazy socialist nonsense, or they see Gavin Newsom with his flippy hands and his slick back hair and his gravel voice and his destruction of California record, it's not going to be a hard decision. JD Vance is going to win by more than Trump won. Mark it right now. I tell you right, Trump got 312 electoral votes. I'm saying JD gets at least 320 to 330 at minimum. I want to be surprised if we see him hit 340, 350. But I'm just telling you right now, as of right now, unless the economy completely tanks, which I'm not too worried about that. Tucker's buying CNN? What? There's no way that's true. Lochtefeld says Tucker's in the pocket nowhere. I completely agree with you. Mike says loved JD from the beginning too. Cass Inc. You're in Pennsylvania. Didn't vote for Shapiro. He sucks. Well, good for you, man. Vince gives me the Vance call. Thank you, Vince. Thank you so much. All right. Speaking of the economy, though, and this is why it's going to be so hard to beat them. Look what happened today. The lowest reading of inflation since started exploding back in the spring of 2021. So before the inflation push, thank you, Joe Biden. Thank you, COVID. Okay. Yes, I know the first stimulus checks got passed under Trump. I'm not an idiot. I know that happened. But inflation was going to be handled. It was going to be within a range. Maybe it would have peaked at like 5% instead of the 9% we got because the Biden stimulus checks that went out after. And we all got what, $1,400? Meanwhile, the main stimulus that caused inflation, it wasn't what went to us. It was the trillions that went to the states, the blue states, who kept their people locked down, who shut down the businesses and pumped out hundreds of billions of dollars because of their lockdowns. And they all were going to go bankrupt. These blue states, they were all going to default on their debt, and Biden bailed them out. That was the real reason for the stimulus. And that's what caused the inflation to go insane. It still would have happened a little bit, but that's what caused it to go insane. This is when it started, spring of 2021, when inflation started really creeping up. That's when everybody got their stimmy checks and their stimmy bailouts. And boom, we just went back to pre that bump, 2.7%. This is like a miracle reading, guys, honestly. Nobody expected this. Wall Street was expecting 3% to 3.1%. They were expecting an increase. Do you know how rare it is that they miss the print by that much, by 0.3 or 0.4, depending on where you looked? It's very rare. Usually it's 0.1, sometimes a 0.2 they miss it, but they usually never miss the direction. It's usually up and they misinterpreted it. They thought it was higher or a little faster than they expected, or a little slower, or down, same thing. But they almost never get the direction wrong. They completely missed the direction. They thought it was up and it went down. This is massive. And yeah, it happened during the government shutdown. So that might be a part of it. We'll see how it plays out. We'll see if this sticks. But I got to tell you, the fact this has already happened, that it's already balancing and maybe even going back down, tells me that the tariff shock is over as well too. And we were all getting the projections that inflation was going to go crazy because of tariffs. No, sir. So imagine this. 2025, not the best economic year. Tough. We inherited Biden's economy. He was trying to change some of it. But let's look at the wins that are already happening. Housing already starting to go lower. Not by much, but it's happening. Gas, pretty significantly lower, like up to 20-25%, depending where you live. Gas going down. Inflation stabilized. All these things are happening. GDP growing 3.5%. All this stuff's happening, and we haven't even got into where all the investment from other places, where all the tariffs, the revenue from that coming in, where all the people getting their tax cuts, none of that has happened yet. So it all looks like it's happening ahead of schedule, which is incredible. Because when Reagan did all his economic stuff, it took 18 months to turn around. He got shellacked in the midterms of 82 because everything he did in 81 didn't hit till 83. Trump's already seeing results in his first year. That's incredible, guys. We just don't see that. And I want to remind you, going back to, this is a story earlier in the year, but I wanted to revisit for just a second here. We don't have to listen to
when
Scott.
you have
I love Scott, but we don't have to listen to him. But I just want to remind you of this. What have I been saying? Trump, it's about Main Street and not Wall Street. So I still believe they're going to allow the market to crash at some point, and it might be soon based on what some my favorite people with their models are saying. But it's about, once that happens, change it. Flip the script. Get Wall Street back to where it's reflecting what's happening on Wall Street, not enriching everybody not on Main Street, which is what it's doing right now. And what Vance said back then said, despite success of Wall Street in recent years, Trump administration believes it's Main Street's turn to lead the economy. Isn't that exactly what he's doing? All the stuff Trump's done hasn't really helped. Wall Street. Wall Street's been going up, but Wall Street's its own beast. You know, we all know it's rigged. But the one thing that he's done that's really excited Wall Street is AI investment, which, listen, we have to invest in it. We don't have a choice. It's so powerful, and not in the ways people are warning about. It's not going to like take us over, but it's so powerful in how it helps things process, which is going to come in very handy for military and many, many other things. So we have to be the world leader. There's no way of getting around it. So Trump investing in AI, that's helping pump Wall Street because we're still riding that AI bubble. Other than that, Wall Street hated the tariffs. Wall Street doesn't want deregulation. Because deregulation is bad for corporations. It's great for small businesses. It's bad for corporations because it starts ruining the monopoly. All the lobbyists for corporations always are for more regulation. So that's the opposite of what they tell you, by the way. The liberals will tell you, oh, capitalism is what's ruining our nation. We need more regulation. They all want socialism, you know. The capitalism causes monopolies. No, it doesn't. It's regulations cause monopolies because regulations hurt small business. So all this stuff that Trump's been doing is pro Main Street by far. For the last 4 decades, basically, because since I began my career in Wall Street's grown wealthier than ever before. It can continue to grow and do well, but for the next 4 years, Trump agenda is focused on Main Street, Vance said. It's Main Street's turn. Main Street's turn to hire workers. Main Street's turn to drive investment. Main Street's turn to restore the American dream. You know what else Wall Street hates? Wall Street hates, and I mean hates, the border being closed. Because Wall Street loves all that cheap labor. They don't care about middle class. They don't care about Main Street. They will rob you blind as long as their profits are going up. They don't care what's happening to other Americans, the vast majority of them. So again, those are just stuff. All that stuff is happening. It's helping Main Street, and we're going to see more of it. Keep going. Mike Bitchler says JD is the best lower class upbringing in quite some time. People love him for it. Amen. He's got a great story. I can't believe Tucker put a bit on CNN and I didn't hear about it. That's wild. I'll have to look that up, Alan. Vince says, I wish JD would take over for Charlie. You know, I hear you, and maybe after he's president, but right now we need him where he's at. We don't have another leader. We literally don't have someone else who can take over for Trump. We just don't. It has to be JD. So, I mean, I can't think, and listen, you guys know me. I'm a political junkie. I can't think of anybody even close to as good of a successor as JD Vance. Not even close. Not anybody I'd trust. So it's got to be JD. And, you know, JD would be a great Charlie Kirk replacement, but I think he's got a different calling. I really do. Alan says, Oregon could flip if their gas goes super high, plus gas shortages. Oregon's so far from flipping. I hope you're right, Alan. I just can't see it. I think those people are crazy. They're just so crazy. They'll just blame Trump for it. Yeah, housing because of illegal aliens, absolutely. US One says our police agency received millions of COVID funding, spent wisely. You spent it. Good for you, US One. I didn't know you were a cop. or in the force. Lock to Feld says, Bazant dealing with $9 trillion in bonds up in 2026. Yes, there is. That's going to be spicy. That's one of the reasons Trump's trying to get the rates down, is because the bonds are going to be bonds that were bought at cheap interest rates are going to have to be, what's it called? Resettled. So not going to be fun. Yeah, it's coming in January. The big, beautiful bill is taking effect. It's going to be huge. I've already seen what it's going to do for my taxes. It's very, very nice. Who would be JD's VP? I think it's going to be Rubio. And let me tell you why it's a great idea. First of all, I do think Rubio's come full circle. But because he was once on the inside with the establishment, he was a neocon. And, I think Rubio's seen the error of his ways. I don't think Rubio was ever a neocon because he was corrupt. Let me put it that way. I think Rubio was brought up by, Cuban Americans who were very Reaganish, and as most of them are or were. And because of that, Rubio just loved America, and he truly believed the neocon lie that we kind of have to always be on offense and constantly in war to be safe. And so I think he was a true believer with a good heart that got duped. And I think he's woken up. But because of his ties before, I'm not ready to have him as president. If he comes after JD and we just get a third straight Republican president, I'd be all for it. I'll vote for Rubio in a heartbeat then. But we have to have somebody we can trust 100% after Trump. So, but Trump, Rubio, but the other part is it's Vance. There's a lot of old school Republicans, Reagan type Republicans, even in the voting base, who don't like Vance, or they're worried about Vance is a better way to put it. They're worried about him. He's young. They don't really know him. They hear all this stuff about him, and they're just not sure. You put Rubio on that ticket, you get their vote. 100% you get their vote. They love Rubio. And Rubio is kicking ass right now as Secretary of State. He's just crushing it. So Rubio will be a very strong VP. He'll be absolutely perfect. So yeah, it's going to be Vance, Rubio, 100%. What is my take on Trump media joining tech group? You mean the Fusion group? I think it's a genius move, and I think DJT continues to impress with how they're able to make deals and with who. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see DJT get a major breakthrough and crush some shorts this next year. So, but we'll have to watch and see what happens. Okay. Here's a fun story. Let's move on. I will, of course, answer any more questions if you guys bring them up, but this story just blew my mind. It's so weird. I had to double check it. Trump has announced the Patriot Games for 250th anniversary next year. I love this idea. It is so wacky. It's so weird. It's so fun. It's basically the Hunger Games, but American and not evil. 4-day athletic event with one man and one woman from each state and U.S. territory for the 250th. I hate that we're doing the territories, because if Puerto Rico somehow won it all, that wouldn't feel very American. But this is so fun. Let's have all the states compete against each other. Who's got the two best athletes? I love this idea. There's really not many other details on it, but this is just so fun, and you better believe I'll be watching this. This will be absolutely fantastic to watch. I can't wait. So, I don't know. You guys let me know. I'm going to put this, I got to put a poll in the chat here, because I bet a lot of you, this is the first you've heard of it, but yeah, I'm dropping this. Who's excited for the Patriot Games? All right, you guys let me know. I gotta know how this goes. I definitely am. Did I vote? Yeah. I'm so excited for this. It looks so fun. Vince says JD could replace Charlie while VP between fundraiser and attending funerals. Well, I guess in a way he already is. I mean, the Trump administration's fundraising like you've never heard. They already have a war chest of $2 billion plus for the midterms and other elections. $2 billion. Wait till they get that up. I bet it'll be $5 billion by the time JD runs. So fundraising is happening. It already is. So, David, I don't know if Brett's on tonight. He's been the only mod lately coming on live. He's probably crying over the Rams losing. We're going to get you unbanned, buddy. Just hang in there. Alan says Missouri won COVID against China. $8 billion. The state of Missouri thinking of going after China and ordering U.S. farming operations. Missouri would be the place to do it. They have a great AG over there who really fights for that stuff. I hope they do. I mean, I have a feeling that the Trump administration is going to address that, the Chinese owning farming land. It just hasn't happened yet. They're dealing with a lot of stuff with agriculture, big ag. So I think once they get everything figured out there and they finally come to a healthy place with big ag where they are able to get done what they want to do without like blowing some stuff up that they don't want to do because it'll impact prices too much, I think then they go after the Chinese land. I do. I think we'll see some on that. And this is why I think it. I mean, look at all the stuff they're doing. They keep fulfilling promises. Some of the stuff doesn't happen in the time we want, but HHS just did a big one
Doctors
today.
assume a solemn
Let's listen to RFK here for a sec as he really goes after. I mean, they're kind of trying to take out these trans surgeries on kids, which is just, to me, one of the big issues of our day.
Doctors assume a solemn obligation to protect children. Yet doctors across the country now provide needless and irreversible sex-rejecting procedures that violate their sacred Hippocratic oath by endangering the very lives that they are sworn to safeguard. The American Medical Association, the American Academy of Pediatrics, peddled the lie that chemical and surgical sex-rejecting procedures could be good for children who suffer from gender dysphoria. They betrayed the estimated 300,000 American youth ages 13 to 17, conditioned to believe that sex can be changed. They betrayed their Hippocratic oath to do no harm. So-called gender-affirming care has inflicted lasting physical and psychological damage on vulnerable young people. This is not medicine, it is malpractice. We're done with junk science driven by ideological pursuits, not the well-being of children. A peer-reviewed report published by the HHS Office of the Assistant Secretary for Health last month confirms that sex-rejecting procedures impose medical dangers and lasting harm on children who receive these interventions. So today we are taking 6 decisive actions, guided by gold standard science and the week 1 executive order from President Trump to protect children from chemical and surgical mutilation. This morning, I signed a declaration. Sex-rejecting procedures are neither safe nor effective treatment for children with gender dysphoria.
You guys know what a big deal that is? That is the American Science official stamp right there. That just, we're done with this. Like now every paper, every argument for the trans movement now has to actually speak against the U.S. government, which is, their big institution. They're the side of institutions. So this is absolutely huge. This is absolutely huge. And everybody who says Bobby ain't doing it on Bobby is doing such a good job. He's not doing it for HHS and Maha is failing. Just think about this. Like, this is one of those things that's just massive. We have sanity back, guys. I mean, the people who are freaking out that Trump's not getting anything done or he hasn't made any changes. Are you kidding me? Just stuff like this, the common sense that's back. This changes a generation. 4 years of common sense back after what we just went through. Do you know how hard it is to undo this when you just let the majority of people who they worked for years to get us all quiet, to get us all like in the corner, to make it feel with their psyop in the media that we were the minority when we all had common sense, where it's all like, what the heck is happening? All this trans crap. How could people be going for this? Well, people weren't. We were just being told they were. It was being pushed on us, but that took time. And now the spell is completely broken. You know how long it takes to redo a spell like that? We're talking a generation. And so when people gripe about Trump, like not making arrests and stuff, I'm like, I know that matters. I know I want to see it, but how many children are saved because of this? How many? Like, we cannot underestimate politics is downstream of culture. You cannot underestimate the impact on culture that stuff like this has for long term. And speaking of that, this one that's going to be loved by a lot of the libertarians and stuff. Trump, he just reclassified marijuana or rescheduled it. So, I'm not a fan of marijuana, at least not recreationally, but I do understand it has uses that can help with pain and cataracts and some other stuff, cancer stuff. So listen, it's definitely shouldn't be classified the same as heroin. This is huge. Trump's delivering. So I'm not going to go too long into this one. I'm not a pothead. You a pothead, fucker? Nope. Not a pothead. Not my thing. I've been high 3 times in my life, and 2 of them weren't my fault. So not my thing, but I do understand that overall this is a good thing, and it's going to win a lot of voters. It's going to get a lot, so good for him. Again, it's just common sense back in the nation. What's that all there? Alan says, I'm a toxic alpha male. Love my Bible, guns, and free speech. Amen, brother. Cass Inc., did I hear the backroom judge Dugan found guilty? Obstruction? No, I didn't see that. I'll have to look into that. I'm glad. We need to go after all these judges. Speaking of corruption, though, this Somali thing just keeps getting crazier. We have the fraud in Minnesota for the Somalians, as much as 18 billion could have been stolen at this point. So we got to be watching this closely. This is a massive national story. It's very good that this is all coming out because it's showing the problems with the immigration status of a lot of these people. And it's also putting a lot of pressure on people like Ilhan Omar. If we find out she was a part of this, or Tim Walz, they could be taken down, which could also lead to hopefully the pressure on a bill that could pass that would eliminate having dual citizenship if you want to serve in our politics. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that is generationally changing. So this story is huge. I'll continue to monitor it, but not much else to say other than the amount. Although I saw a crazy thing where Somalia's entire GDP is like 16 billion and they stole 18 billion and sent a lot of it over there. I mean, you can't make that stuff up. They've stolen more than the entire country. How crazy is that? That is absolutely asinine. Trump going hard after the housing. I'm doing the quick hits right now, guys, because shows where I'm going to wind down the show, but Trump's considering declaring a national housing emergency. So it'd be really interesting to see what he does there. Once it's designated an emergency, they can move a lot faster on stuff. And housing is one of those things that's barely affected by congressional laws. It's more affected by regulations. So he could slash regulations like crazy and really start changing things. Maybe this will end up being a 50-year mortgage, stuff like that. Although I think that was a testing, and I think that testing failed. So I don't think we see the 50-year mortgage idea come back, but we'll see what else. It's really important this gets done. I gotta say, I'm 42. I've owned one house in my life. It was a miracle how it happened. It would not have happened in normal circumstance. And then because of life, I ended up having to move less than a year after buying it. I sold it. I did make a profit on it, thank God. But I can't buy now. This house I live in right now, I rent. I can't afford it. It's crazy expensive to buy a house right now. And I live in one of the cheaper states for that. North Carolina is right in the middle. So, it's just, but I'm 42. I mean, think of all the younger people that want to start building their assets in that. So I really hope they figure this all out soon. Let's see. Oh, this is breaking. So Fulton County in Georgia, remember Trump said they were going to start getting election stuff from 2020 out in the open? Well, Fulton County admits they violated the rules in 2020 when they certified 315,000 early votes that lacked poll workers' signatures. We won't dispute the allegation. Well, Trump only lost Georgia by 11,000 votes. You think he found it somewhere in that 315,000? Yeah, the 2020 was so rigged. It's so rigged. The other crazy thing was Rich Barris, People's Pundit, did a poll of Georgia and said how many voted for Trump versus not. 46% said they voted for Trump. 39% said they didn't. So you're polling Georgia after, and then everybody else was like either I don't remember a couple percent or someone else. Point is, Trump should have overwhelmingly won Georgia, and yet so we're gonna get more and more on this. It's crazy the county's not disputing it, and then here's a couple fun little stories at the end, guys. Moose bought a house, but you didn't have kids. Oh, okay, so you got a little starter home, cute little starter home. Okay. Trump, this is awesome, makes Christmas Eve and December 26th federal holidays. Christmas is back, baby, and bigger than ever. So congrats to you, federal workers. You get a 5-day weekend. And, not usually a fan of government getting more vacation, but for Christmas, I'm going to make an exception. I think Christmas should be recognized. I think Christmas for pretty much everybody should be like 5 days to a week off. It's way more than a day. It's a season. We're celebrating the birth of Jesus. We should all be with family. We should all be able to rest and relax and get ready for the new year. So love that Trump did this. It's fantastic. You got a house, dude, for 5-bedroom, 2-bath house, Moose. Holy smokes. Where do you live, man? You must be pulling down that cash. Gotcha Sucker says, no one stays 50 years in a house anymore or would give same buyers a way in instead of renting, allowing them to gain equity. Gotcha Sucker, I actually agree with you. I'm not against the 50-year mortgage. I don't think it was publicly accepted. So Alan says, why buy a house when your other half gets half? Maybe. Listen, Alan, it's an interesting point. I know a lot of people agree with that sentiment. Do you know that if you account for only people who get married first, their divorces, one time, divorce rate for people who get married only once is like under 30%. So over 70% of marriages for the first time succeed. What makes the divorce rate get up to near 50 is the fact that second marriages fail at like 60%. Third marriages fail at like 75%. The more you get married, the more they fail. So, I don't like that. I don't like the anti-marriage sentiment. I don't like when people make decisions based on thinking they could get divorced. I think that's kind of weak. But I do know a lot of people do it. So I understand that. But also, Alan, nowadays, the average salary you have to get to buy the average house in America. The average house in America right now selling is over $400,000. The average salary needed to afford the modern house in America, the current price in America, is $114,000. So the median salary of Americans is somewhere around 70,000 household incomes around like 80,000. So it's nowhere close. You can't, that's the regular Americans can't do it. Marriage is the leading cause of divorce. Moose, are you married? How old are you, Moose? It's time to have some kids, brother. You gotta do your part. This is really interesting too. This is the last thing I wanted to show tonight because it's just so crazy and such a Trump thing to do. Trump signed executive order committing the U.S. to return to the moon by 2028, build a lunar outpost by 2030, and prepare for the journey to Mars. The moon by 2028, that's his last year in office. So Trump's saying he can get this pulled off by 2028. That's crazy. I would love to see this happen. And I'll tell you, if Trump can figure it out, I'll actually believe in the first moon landing, if we actually can make this happen. So we'll see. This would be a big one for me. I don't believe the earth is flat. Some of us do in this chat. Cough, cough, Vince. I love you, brother. But anyways, this would be really interesting to see how he does this. Obviously, it'll probably be SpaceX working with the Trump administration, but love to see what happens here. Trump is throwing out ideas. Maybe you won't own the house, but your kids will. Yeah, listen, I don't think the 50-year mortgage is a bad idea. I really don't. I think it's kind of wild and outside the box, but it's still, you're buying an asset. You can do what you want with it. Moose, 32, not married, but been with the women for 5 years. Boo, put a ring on it, bro. 5 years? Come on, what you waiting for? Moose, I'm telling you, man, put a ring on it and get her knocked up. I'm being very crass right now. but he says it's not for lack of trying. So, brother, we're going to get you that kid. All right? Everybody, kids are the best. Best. Trump means he will land on the moon. Maybe they'll carve his face on it and he could be the man on the moon. Alan Krenz, glad I own my 4-bedroom, 2-bath home, acreage on less than $50K a year. That's incredible, Alan. Aren't you in you're in a really cheap state though, aren't you, Alan? Are you in, is it Iowa or Montana? It does. I will say this, Alan, to your point, the housing affordability, it does have a massive factor of where you live in America. Depending where you live, even sometimes within states, like in Texas, if you go rural, like if you're willing to live in a podunk town of 1,200 people, you can buy a house and it won't cost you that much. If you want to live in a city, it's very expensive. And then blue states versus red states, so all that. Iowa, I remembered. I got it first. All right. Yeah, Iowa is one of the cheapest states in the nation. Generations after Gen X are set to inherit from their boomer grandparents, Gen X parents, so they need to stop the whining. It's that's true mostly, but there's also a lot of them who are not giving their inheritances away, and others are trying to spend it. So yes, there is truth to that, but I'll tell you, when you live till 90, or we'll just use the average age. I think our average life is 79 now. You live till 79 and you keep your inheritance till you die. Your kids are like 55 when they inherit it, which is fine. That's not the end of the world. But I will tell you, most people aren't raising their families when they're 55. In the old days, people were helping their kids out. They were helping them get their first house. They were helping them. It was much more community oriented. The boomer generation, and I don't mean all boomers. I always get in trouble with the boomers on here. I love you guys. If you're watching this show, you are not who I'm talking about. But the boomer generation is very much like, we're not helping you out. and it sucks because pricing is wages to expenses on assets, not to goods. Yes, goods are cheaper, but assets are more expensive compared to wages than they've been in most of American history. So get the fertility testing done. I hear you. Yeah, he says 5 years. You've had the big arguments by then. She's still there. Put a ring on it. Yeah, Moose, you got to put a ring on it, man. 5 years. I'm going to put some pressure on you, Moose. I love you, brother. It's time. It's time to lock her down for good. Don't let her get away. Don't be the guy who keeps one foot out the door and thinks everything's fine The woman wants the ring. She's been there 5 years. She earned it. Anyways, all right. Well, this is obviously going off the road. It's probably because it's so late. Listen, guys, I love you. I'm gonna call it a night. I'm gonna watch the highlights of that Rams Seahawks game. It sounds like it was a classic, and I missed it, but that's okay. I needed to be on with you guys tonight. You guys are the absolute best. Listen, if you like the show, please hit that like. Please hit that subscribe. If you want to support the show, hit up my Patreon. Members get members perks. They get members only live shows, and they get access to the Discord, which is going 24/7, and a lot of stock talk in there, as well as other stuff. So good times to be had. And you guys could get a free month. Just go into the description underneath the video right here and click it. If you're on X, I see you over there. You can go to the pinned on my profile, the pinned post on my profile. Just click that and get your free month. And also, if you don't mind on X, hitting that follow and that repost, I greatly appreciate it. All right. Love you guys. Let's end in a prayer and call it a night. And listen, after tomorrow, I start a 9-day vacation, taking off all of Christmas. So, I'm going to be around. I plan on probably actually doing a little more lives than usual because I'm going to have a lot of time on my hands. And I like hanging out with you guys. What can I say? So, Heavenly Father, thank you for today. God bless everybody in this chat, Lord. Just be with them. Meet them where they're at. And Father, we pray for our nation, for justice, peace, and prosperity, Lord, in our nation, for wisdom, protection, and boldness to stay on this administration, Lord, especially President Trump, but just protect them all. We thank you, Lord, that the future does look bright, even though there's a lot of work to be done. And so we pray for people like J.D. Vance that they would get to be a part of finishing this job, and you keep them safe as well. And Lord, I just pray all corruption's exposed and defeated. And God, just thank you for what you're doing. Thank you that we even have this chance to fight and get our nation back and make it better for our kids and grandkids. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. I love you guys. David, I will try to unban you. Can you, if you're on Patreon, man, would you go into the Discord and send me your name so I don't forget it? Because as soon as this shuts off, YouTube will close the chat and I'll lose it. So, all right. Have a blessed night, guys. Thanks for watching. Hey, Candace, how are you? Good to see you. Have a blessed night, guys. Good night. Love you. Bye-bye.